Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. This soul finds great pleasure in meeting and sharing with you the 15th episode of Saints of India. The content of this episode has been derived from close to a dozen portals before submitting to you here. Any addition or deletion be graciously pardoned. This episode gives us that confidence which is very much required today. Faced with a handicap at birth, being bullied by his peers, and disowned by parents at a very early age, one climbs up the stairs towards salvation and gets rewarded by Lord Krishna. Your guess is right. This episode is on the life of Sant Surdas and his works. One might be proved wrong if difference of opinion or thoughts didn't exist in those days or centuries back. It did exist, and the birth year of Surdas didn't escape the debates. Luckily, the schools debated for a year's difference. Well, some say his birth year as 1478, others contended to be 1477. In the village of Brij, there lived a Saraswat Brahmin couple who were blessed with a baby boy in the year 1477 CE. When all members of a family celebrate the newcomer into the family, the parents of this child were not able to rejoice. The midwife, who attended to the delivery, broke the news of the child's blindness. The parents were disturbed, but had no go but to nurture the child. The child grew, and the children in the vicinity started calling him as the blind boy. The parents were no exception to this either. What was left over of other children in the household was passed on to Surdas, the child. The comments made by his parents created scars in his heart. Rubbing salt on the wound was the treatment meted out to him by other children. He didn't get the desired love and affection from the shoulders which should actually give him solace. That's his mother. Surdas was tagged as good for nothing by his parents, which pained the young heart and created scar in his heart. He was forced to sit outside his house on the bench and not move anywhere. One day, he heard melodious bhajans sung by a group of people who passed through his house. Surdas was drawn to the music which was soothing to his injured soul. He resolved to learn music and sing bhajans in praise of the Lord. This brought him out of the depression, and he realized a new meaning in life. Surdas' father taught his sons hymns or shlokas in praise of gods. Surdas was unceremoniously turned down by his father that he will not teach a blind boy a good-for-nothing boy. Surdas later in his life becomes good for nothing, reread as good for number of things. His elder brother taunted him, asking him to learn cooking rather than the slokas. Gold is heated number of times before it becomes a beautiful ornament. Only the gold know the travails it had gone through before it garners the praise of others. Though Surdas was better than gold, he never attempted to garner any appreciation, for it came to him on its own. Post the rebuttal of his father, Surdas sat outside his house, totally depressed, when the sweet music, bhajans, reached his ear. He was drawn like an iron filing towards a strong magnet. His legs started following the direction of the music. He was in a state of trance. The group continued their journey, singing bhajans, unmindful of the kid following them. They realized his presence only at the end of the day, where they stopped for the night. Surdas listened intently to the meaning and the tunes of the bhajans. The group sensed that the blind child would turn up to be a burden to them. Man, being the animal he is, left the child all alone, realizing that he was blind and cannot take care of self on his own. Surdas was unperturbed by the events of the morning and stayed put at the same place where he had halted with the group. He started singing devotional songs. The villagers who understood his predicament started supporting him with whatever they could. The place where Surdas was staying happened to be the resting place for all long distance travelers. This gave Surdas many opportunities to listen to bhajans and discussions of sadhus and pilgrims who used to rest there. We learnt of many proverbs as we grew, and one of them is when God closes one door, he opens another. This was realized in Surdas' life. Though he didn't have the sense of sight, God blessed him with the power of soothsaying. This came to light one day when Surdas was seated as ever under the peepal tree on the banks of the lake. A villager came to Surdas and asked his guidance as to where he should search for his lost goat. Surdas was able to pinpoint the location unlike the present day GPS. The villager was given directions by Surdas and he found his goat there. This news spread first through the village and places far and near thereafter. People from surrounding villages came to Sur for his guidance on various subjects. As a token of submission, they offered many things to Surdas. The fame of Surdas never was sought by him. It came on its own. One day, the zamindar came to see him. Having been announced about his arrival by the people who stayed around Surdas, he immediately got up and was to prostrate at the feet of the zamindar. The zamindar stopped him and he fell at the feet of Surdas and prostrated. He then thanked Surdas for his guidance, which helped him in finding his lost son at the exact location as predicted by him. The zamindar then turned around and told his people to build a house for Surdas. This was also built. People came with more presents to Surdas. Amongst them, there was this single-stringed music instrument called a tara. With this instrument and his celestial voice, Surdas enthralled the villagers with his bhajans. Shortly after the hut was built, Surdas had a dream in which he had the vision of Lord Sri Krishna, followed by groups of people singing bhajans in his praise. Surdas was disturbed at this dream and realized that he has settled for comforts in life, for it was not his aim in life. He deliberated in the bed for some time, and even before it dawned, he took his ektara and left the place. A villager who saw Surdas leaving asked if the villagers had committed any mistake which forced Surdas to take the extreme step of moving away from them. He mentioned that his soul has asked him to leave this place. Surdas roamed as his legs took him. All through, he was singing the praise of Krishna and was going places. In a place called Runakta, which is close to current-day Agra, a group of people identified him, hearing the melodious bhajans he was singing. They went, prostrated, and requested him to continue singing, to which Surdas obliged, sitting below a peepal tree. After he finished singing, the villagers requested him to stay put with them. News of Surdas' arrival at Runakta spread as wildfire, and a large crowd came to see him and listen to his songs. They brought presents in plentiful and offered to him. But Surdas wanted to distance himself from the materialistic world. He left Runakta without much fanfare. As he was walking, he stumbled and fell into an unused well. Legend mentions that he was inside the well for 1 week. One day, a young voice asked Surdas to hold the extended hand, assuring to reach him out of the well. Surdas did as advised, and lo, he was out of the well. Surdas' mind said it was none other than his Krishna who had come to help him. He inquired with all the voices he came across if they had seen his Krishna. people started to think that he was mad. Surdas continued his journey in quest of Krishna. He reached Goghat near Mathura. This is the place one can say that he spent major part of his life and created hundreds of songs on Krishna. Serving him was a pleasure to many who became his disciple. Crowds thronged to listen to Surdas singing songs on Krishna. One day, he was informed that Vallabhacharya, a renowned religious master, was expected to pass through Goghat on his way to Vrindavan. Surdas was happy to note about the arrival of Vallabhacharya, for he knew that it was this Acharya who was responsible to strengthen the faith of hundreds of devotees in Sanatana Dharma and Lord Krishna. He requested that he be taken to the discourses of Vallabhacharya so that he may learn more. At the same time, the Acharya was entering Goghat. His aide inquired about the whereabouts of Surdas so that the Acharya can go and meet him. Meanwhile, Surdas was informed about the intended visit of the Acharya to his place. Surdas very humbly told it would be since the Acharya is a learned person and Surdas wasn't. When it was confirmed that the Acharya was heading towards the place of Surdas, he immediately got up and rushed to the entrance to receive the Acharya. Surdas prostrated at his feet and the Acharya embraced Surdas. Vallabhacharya complimented Surdas on his renditions and asked them to sing a song for them. Surdas, in his own unamicable style, sang, denigrating himself. After he was through, the Acharya commended Surdas to spread the glory of Sri Krishna through his songs on a condition that he would stop self-denigration. Surdas, with great humility, asked the Acharya that he is an illiterate and what would he sing about the glory of Krishna. Vallabhacharya assured him that he will tell him all about Sri Krishna. The Acharya stayed with Surdas for many days thereafter, telling Surdas about the Leelas of Sri Krishna. When the time came for Vallabhacharya to leave, Surdas requested that he be initiated as his disciple. Heeding to the request, Vallabhacharya initiated Surdas as his disciple. Then the disciple accompanied his guru to Vrindavan. When they reached the temple, Vallabhacharya appointed Surdas as the principal singer of the temple and asked him to enthrall the devotees of Lord Krishna with songs in his praise. As ever, Surdas very humbly assured his guru. Having appointed Surdas as the principal singer, the Acharya left Vrindavan and continued his mission. Surdas started singing the glories of Sri Krishna and had the devotees bound by the melody. All of us are aware of one of those Surdas liners, Maya Meri, main nahi maakan khayo. When Surdas sang, the devotees were able to visualize and see in front of them the various Leelas of Sri Krishna. They had the unique experience of seeing Krishna in front of them. It so happened that Surdas' brother happened to come to Vrindavan and meet him. They pleaded guilty of their doings and apologized for the same. They urged that he return back to Brij and rejoin the family. For this, Surdas told that the entire mankind is his family. All that Surdas sang was in the heart, mind, and lips of those people who heard them. Once it so happened that Tansen sang a song of Surdas in the court of Akbar. Akbar was thrilled to listen to the song and appreciated Tansen. In line with the character of noble souls, Tansen admitted to Akbar that it was Surdas who had written the song and it wasn't him. Akbar immediately sent for Surdas. When the messenger informed Surdas about the king's desire, he humbly rejected the invitation, stating that he would sing only in the court of Lord Krishna and he knows no other court. When this was conveyed to Akbar, he told, if Surdas doesn't come, then he will go to Surdas. Saying thus, he left to meet Surdas. At the place of Surdas, Akbar said that he had come all the way from Delhi to hear him sing and requested him to sing. When Surdas completed his singing, Akbar was in all praise of him. Akbar wanted Surdas to come to his court, for which Surdas repeated again that for him there was only one court, and that of Sri Krishna, and he knew no other court. Akbar acknowledged his thought and offered to give some villages as his gift to Surdas. For this, he said, the entire world is of Sri Krishna, and what is it that Akbar wants to take and give it to him? Sant Tulsidas happened to meet Surdas in Vrindavan. They stayed together for some days. On the day of departure, Sant Surdas asked Sant Tulsidas to promise that he will sing a song of Krishna. In return, Sant Tulsidas wanted Sant Surdas to sing in praise of Sri Rama, which both of them agreed to. Sant Surdas, when in Mathura, composed a song every day describing how the deity has been decorated. His song would describe every aspect of the decoration that has been made, from the color of the dress material, the ornaments that have been adorned, and the various flowers that garlanded him. He used to bring them in his song, much to the surprise of all devotees who were present in the temple. They used to wonder how Sant Surdas, being blind, can describe all aspects of the decoration. They wanted to test him. One day, no decoration was made, and they waited for Surdas to start singing. Everyone were shocked and surprised when he started singing and said that, why is it my Krishna has not been adorned today? People then realized that he was blind physically but has been blessed with divine vision. Sant Surdas' creation includes Sursagar, describing Radha and Krishna as lovers, Sur Saravali, where he describes the festival of Holi, where the Lord plays the central role. The Lord's mood in playing with the gopis, the creation of the universe, gets into the detailing of the Lord's incarnations, while the Sahitya Lahari emphasizes on bhakti towards the Supreme Lord. Sant Surdas' songs are found in Guru Granth Sahib, the holy book of the Sikh. Sant Surdas mingled with the Almighty in the year 1583, which is once again contested by different schools. Hope you enjoyed listening to this episode of Saints of India. If you would like to support this project of mine, you may contribute through patreon.com, the link for which is available in the description. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha.